Good morning, boys and girls. Good morning, good morning. Alrighty. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? Absolute banger of a tune, that one. Sorry, I couldn't. I apologise, Team YouTube. You obviously don't get the tunes because, you know, copyright do copyright things. But welcome in. Good morning, boys and girls. Are we all good? Hope you had a good weekend. There's so much to talk about. I love Mondays. Because we got just everything from every angle to have a little bit of a look at. We've obviously got the release date. That's the big news. We now know what we're working towards. August 22nd for the pre-orders. August 26th is the official launch. The actual times on them are a bit funky. Obviously, it's a global release, which is nice. Like the fact that it's global release. Expansions have to be global release. But it's global release, which means for me, technically, it's 1 a.m. It goes live, which is like, ooh, okay. There will be decisions to be made in that regards to how we approach that. I feel like I want to take full advantage of the early access because I cannot possibly believe that there won't be some goblin shenanigans to be done in the early access period. But at the same time, I don't want to break my schedule over that weekend, then burn out before the game even goes live. No stream announcement? Wait. Lies. Not lies. Definitely not lies. I went and got coffee instead, didn't I? Whoops. Morning all. Have a launch bit. Whoops. My bad. Damn coffee. I even started early? No, I didn't. I started exactly on time. I left the intro going a little bit longer because it was a banger of a tune, but we started smack on time. Don't give me that rubbish. Welcome in, though. Welcome in. Right. 3-day stream on launch. I'd be dead. I'd be done. I'd be horizontal. It'd be game over. I'd be in a box before the game even goes live. We've got to be careful with that. Yeah, the early access weekend. I mean, let's look at what old Mr. Calendar has to say about this. Right. August 22nd is the Thursday. For all intensive purposes, because it's actually 1 a.m. on the 23rd, me personally, it's maybe like 11 p.m. on the 22nd, I think, for like Team UK. So depending on your mileage, the launch time may vary. But 22nd, 23rd, if we start. We go. I don't know how we. I don't know how we approach this. Doggos wouldn't let him stream for 3 days straight. Doggos, wife. I might just say, right, dear wife, I'll see you at the end of September. Although my birthday's in September, so that probably wouldn't go down very well either. So it means that yes, we will probably have that weekend for early access. And then 1 a.m. on the Tuesday morning of the 27th is technically when the game, like, when everybody else can have a go. The thing is, the actual official launch, I won't need to do anything silly for that because we'll have been in for 3 days. We'll be good to go. It means I can do a silly 1 a.m. till whenever stream on that day, and we'll just play a lot over the weekend. I'm not going to go as far as 24-hour streams or nothing ridiculous, but we can push, we can pump, we can do numbers. It could be good. Factorio around August as well. Oh, please no. We actually have news on that yet? Have they come out and said when that's launching yet? If that launches early September, I'm going to cry. Actually cry. That for me will be decisions to be made. Because I very, very might put World of Warcraft down. Like, literally just put it down for a week when Factorio launches. I don't care. Factorio releases its expansion, I am there. Nearly 200,000 coffee beans, what am I meant to do with them? I don't know, Haley, I don't know. I'm so sorry, I don't know. I can't figure out anything constructive to do with these coffee beans. I don't want lots of spammy noises on the stream all the time. And I can't think of anything more creative to use them with. I need to figure it out. Yeah, people are getting silly numbers as well, because we've done predictions and stuff in the past, and that's... Oh, dear. Server goes live 8 a.m. on the Friday for you. Hey, see, now that's a good time. That is like, get a solid night's sleep in, wake up, and go. That's success. Will professions be locked in those days, like gathering nodes and herbs, or is it full go? If so, 4 days is literally enough to level up multiple professions. They're only going to seemingly want to gatekeep player power. That's the only thing that they're going to want to hinder. They're not going to want people to be able to fully gear their characters before other players have even started playing the game. So I don't think the restrictions... I know they said they're going to put restrictions in place, but I don't really think these restrictions are going to be all that. They will maybe prevent you from doing Mythic Zeros, maybe. Oh, sorry, Heroics... I forget the dungeon thing is changed now, hasn't it? They might not let you do your heroics. You'll have normal dungeons for leveling up. You'll be able to be at level 80. You'll be able to explore and do bits and pieces. You just won't be able to, you know... the restrictions are going to be minor. Very minor. I don't think they're going to really affect goal making in any way, shape or form. My prediction is it's just go from the 22nd. Which is why from the word go, I've said I don't like the fact that they're selling early access, but if you are looking to make gold, it's not an optional thing, really. It's borderline mandatory. You're setting yourself up for failure if you turn up 4 days late, honestly. Which is... It's one of those harsh realities, I think. EA weekend is character leveling weekend. That might be the play, you know. That might be the play. I feel that leveling a couple of characters over that first weekend might be the play. You will have such a nice little advantage by being level 80 when everybody else joins the game, and then you can start doing what goblins do best, which is just crafting and selling things without having to, you know, whilst everybody else is playing catch-up with leveling their characters. Not that being level 80 is going to be a huge advantage, I don't think, but it'll be an advantage enough that it seems like a solid plan. I'll at least get if not 2 characters up, I reckon, to level 80 in that weekend. And it might allow me to feel a little bit more chill, a little bit more relaxed with it, so... Did anybody else level and notice it's a lot faster this time around? What, 70 to 80? I've not done it. I need to do it, actually. I still need to have a little bit more of a look at the professions in a bit more detail before we start playing around with world content, but I do need to test the leveling. I want to see what the leveling path feels like. Campaign is supposed to be very short. Yeah, I did see it's only like 5 chapters long or something. So, what's the play? Go herb mining at the start. Sell them, then focus on crafting. Herbalism and mining, I tend to think, is very good. It depends how locked the professions are, how locked down the professions are. The suspicions, the rumors are starting to float around that knowledge points are going to be quite aggressively capped this time round, as to prevent people from, like, just grinding dragon shards or the equivalent and getting significantly further ahead. If they do choose to cap knowledge points more aggressively, you might be able to decide that, right, this profession, this character, I can get my knowledge points for the week, and then I can go and do something else. Obviously, you'll want to be crafting and selling stuff, presumably, as well, but your concentration might also come into play with this. You might, you might have finite amount of actual useful playtime with a single profession. And so then it presents the opportunity for you to go do some gathering without it feeling like you're losing out on progress. The issue I have with gathering early in the expansion, it's good for instant gratification. It's good for making a lot of gold quite quickly. But it doesn't progress your characters any further forward. Unless you can then very quickly use that gold to slingshot yourself even further forward with your professions. This is why you go into an expansion with a big pot of gold already, so that you don't have to do that early gathering. Even though it is very lucrative, you can use the gold you've already stockpiled to slingshot yourself and just be ahead, is the way that I try to do it anyway. Then once everything starts to mellow down and get a little bit more back to normality, then maybe you can go out and do some herbalism mining or some farming of some sort. That's my plan. Yeah, if you already have the gold, just go for it. Like, if you've already got the gold, you might as well spend it. If you make it back, great. If you don't, well, who cares? Make some more. Concentration was bugged on my alchemy character yesterday. It said it needed 86 concentration, but then ended up taking 344. Yeah, concentration is still very early implementation. This does leave me to believe, right? This leads me to, now that we have a release date, it's scarily close, considering the state that professions are in. Professions are good. That, the foundation is there. They seem to have got the knowledge trees mostly in order. But a lot of the actual nodes don't do what they say they're meant to do. A lot of nodes just don't work yet. A lot of the actual intricacy systems parts of it. It's like the faceplate. The faceplate is there, but there's the lights are on, but nobody's home. There's a lot to do behind the scenes still with the professions. I either hope that they're really further ahead internally than what we see, or boy oh boy do they have a lot to do in the next 70 days, I think it is. So we'll see. I use my gold to buy the War Bank and the Heroic Edition. 1.2 mil sounds better than $40 for 4 days of gaming. 4-day early access, $40. It's $10 a day. I know it's. I mean, you could easily then 10 hours a day. If you sign that weekend off as fun, 10 hours a day, it's like €1 an hour for the early access. Compare that to any other. I don't know. It's your call. It's your call. People didn't believe me when I said the new expansion was coming in August. Anyways, I'm really surprised that it has an August date. I was like, surely it can't come before September, because if pre-patch is going to be the end of... This also means, right, pre-patch and remix are going to overlap. If they do... Yeah, because pre-patch has to come 2-3 weeks at the very least before the expansion actually launches. So pre-patch is going to be crossing over with the end of remix. If there's a pre-patch, there is a pre-patch. There's always a pre-patch. Pre-patch has to come a few weeks early to implement this, right? Warbands. Warbands is one of the biggest features they're implementing for the pre-patch. And I shit you not, there will be problems with it. There will be problems. It'll be buggy and busted and all sorts of chaos when it goes live, because every single person has a slightly different account and has done slightly different stuff, and smushing it all together and like, just, I don't know, it'll be a shit show for a couple of days, but this is why they have to do pre-patches. They do pre-patches to get the chaos out of the way, so that then when the expansion goes live, we can, you know, not be in a buggy mess. Pre-patch is only 2 weeks long this time around based on data mining. Is there any... Okay. I'd be happy with that. You know why? Because at the end of July, I need to take almost a week off. I'm going over to the UK for a wedding at the end of July. A Saturday wedding, and me and the wife are spending an extra couple of days there as well. So if pre-patch is 4 weeks before launch, I'm going to miss the pre-patch launch, which will make me cry. But if pre-patch lands first week of August, first, second week of August, happy man here. So we'll see. Just hope they do another round of realm merges before the expansion. Making gold on medium pop servers sucks bad compared to full. I mean, if it sucks that bad, just move the character. Like, if it sucks that bad, you got to just move the character. Either move the character or roll a new one. See, this is the thing. I don't disagree with you. I think medium pops probably should be alright. Low pops, on the other hand, I just cannot recommend anybody be on a low pop server unless you're there for a very good reason. Very good reason being is that you do a lot of herbalism and mining, and it's practically a shard to yourself. And you can gain some advantage back that way, but there's basically no reason to be on a low pop server. A wedding in July, you're never going to know what to wear. It could be snow, it could be 40 degrees. Yeah, good old British weather. Can't wait for that. Absolutely. Pre-patch will start 1 week after Remix ends. Well, 1 week after Remix ends, the flipping expansion goes live. There's like a handful of days between Remix ending and the expansion going live. Remix ends on the 19th. 3 days between that and the pre-release. You can't have a... You can't... you can't have... This is my point. There's going to be a crossover. That's going to make the end of Remix wacky when all of the profession changes and stuff comes in. Spec changes, sorry. Not, I suppose, to be fair, you press 2 buttons in Remix, don't you? Nobody does an actual rotation. It'll be fine. They need to get those beta builds in stat. Things still seem pretty broken. Yeah, we're gonna start today by picking another profession to have a little poke around at. There's only a handful left on the list. I think I need to look at Enchanting. You know, I think Enchanting's got to be the play. Let me make sure I pick somebody that doesn't have an Enchanting bonus. Oh, that pink hair, though. Sheesh. Fishing. We'll get to fishing, don't you worry. We'll get to fishing. D4's got a full price expansion already. Yeah, like proper full price as well. Have you seen the full the Diablo the cheek of it? Cheek of it. Have you seen this? Where is it? Store. Diablo 4. We have Vessels of Hatred Standard Edition at $40. The deluxe edition at 60. And then flipping $90 for the Diablo expansion. Sheesh. On top of their battle pass, on top of like the flipping Nora. Not to mention their cosmetic shop is gross. The Quad A, exactly. Quad A. What's the where's the comparison chart on this? What are they trying to throw your way to? My camera's going to be in the way a little bit for this, but you'll figure it out. Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred expansion. Wait, what? Oh, there's an armor set. There's an armor set you can get with the bigger version. Instant. There's a pet. Oh, it's a good boy. Ah, they're flogging you a good boy. Look, it's a damn husky and all. Ah, they're selling you a good boy for $20. Sure, of course they are. There's a leopard mount, which I can't deny is actually quite cool. A 1 premium battle pass token, whoop-de-doo, instant unlock. And going from 60 up to 90, an extra $30. We're going to give you 3,000 platinum. Another tiger pet. Oh, dear God, look at this thing. Look at the cuteness on that thing. Damn. Armor sets, more cosmetics, and town portal business. Right. $90 for Diablo expansion. That might be the time we dip back into it, though. Do we have an expansion for this? Vessel of Hatred, October the 8th. October the 8th. So right when we're probably super busy with the War Within. All right, then we'll give that a miss. I'll wait another year then. Yeah. Hang on, Diablo Immortal downloaded separately. What the hell are you talking about Diablo Immortal for? Get out of here. Are they trying to flog you something for Diablo? Oh, hang on, are these? I was wondering for a second if some of these aren't even for the right game. I don't know, maybe that's a typo. Yeah, what have you got here? Look, 2 pets. Flipping good boy pet. Good boy pet. Little cute thingamabob. Then you get the tiger version and the snow leopard version with the big boy pack. Cat with a bundle. Damn. What are we saying though, boys and girls? What are we saying on the... Going back to World of Warcraft now. What are we saying on the expansion release for Twitch drops? We saying cock mount? 3 cocks all round? It's got to be something juicy, right? It's got to be something good. It's an expansion launch. They got to throw something our way. I think we've got to get something pretty fantastic this time round as a Twitch drop. Void cock. Not to mention, doesn't even look like the base game is part of that €90 pre-purchase. Oh, for Diablo 4, is it not? Oh God, sorry, I don't mean to be bouncing around here. Oh, if you don't own Diablo 4 at all, you can get the bundle for $70 that gives you Diablo 4, but then there'll be an upsell to whatever the cost of this is. So if you pay 40 for the base expansion by itself, there's a €50 difference there. If you pay €70 because you don't own Diablo 4, €70 for the expansion, you'll get then another €50 on top of that if you want the big boy one. €120 for the game plus expansion. Yeah, now that's €20 more expensive than the most expensive version of Diablo when it launched. Inflation's a real bitch, eh? Thank God we pay for all of this with gold and don't think about it. Sheesh. Maybe one of the mounts from Remix that everybody paid 38,000 bronze for. But that would just trigger people. But they'll usually throw a trading card game, something or other. What did they do? What did they do for... They did two things, didn't they, for the expansion launch, Dragonflight? What did they do? There was that little pet thing. There was the 2 gifted subs promo that gave you the little pet. I can't remember what his name was. And there was something else. There was a mount or something you got. I can't remember what it was. Guys, Diablo 4 is going to be on Game Pass, don't worry. I kind of wish WoW was as well at this point, to be honest. There's something, what do they also added a get back into Warcraft thing or something, didn't they? This thing. Welcome back, welcome to Azeroth bundle. 23 euros. 23 euros for, what is it? Dragonflight expansion, 60 days of game time, and a level 60 character boost. That's actually pretty solid, you know. That's not bad. I mean, the $60 game time is that price. It's quite genuinely one of the actual better offers they've done for quite some time. Wonder if I can use it for alt accounts. Well, this is you are thinking the same thing I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is a prime opportunity to throw that on a couple of bonus accounts, and just abuse Remix for everything it's got. I could put that on 4 accounts, boost a Twink, use my Twink Monk to boost 4 accounts at the same time, because Blizzard don't seem to be doing anything about this Remix leveling shenanigans with level 20 Twinks, which surprises me. Maybe they've had too much to do with the announcement and everything this week, but $23 a piece for a few different accounts. Obviously, that's a couple of tokens a piece. Not bad, not bad. I could go with that. I could go with that. So that's quite genuinely a pretty good value offer, this one. 60 days of game time, just enough to get you to the expansion. Almost. When does the expansion go live? What's the actual date? 73 days and 13 hours and 31 minutes, according to Wowhead. Wowhead have already got a little time on their front page, look. Yeah, it's only Dragonflight, it's not the expansion. You'd still need to get the expansion as well. Yeah, Wowhead has got a little time on the go. Offer expires on June 23rd, so just enough time. Yeah, calculated. Calculated, right? Absolutely calculated. To give you just enough time to then go, oh, you've got to give us more money now, you're done. Is there enough in I suppose if you don't own Dragonflight and if you haven't played Dragonflight, then I guess there's plenty enough to keep you busy for the next 2 months. And all of the hype and all of the talk of the new expansion will squeeze another $50 out of you bare minimum, right? Not going to have sub-rolling during the War Within, no. Yeah, it's clearly a smart way of pushing towards bonus sales. But Dragonflight, 60 boost, 60 days of game time. Pretty solid offer. I'm tempted to take them up on it just to level some alts. Question is, for me, though, is I don't know how much time I've got to play retail now. You've got some serious beta business to be dealing with. Serious beta business, which means I should probably stop looking at things to buy in the store and we should probably start doing some stuff, shouldn't we? Let's get some... Whoa, no, hang on. Fix this real fast. There we go. We were going to do Enchanting, weren't we? Pretty calculated. They're not dumb. They know what they're doing. They're not dumb. I've suddenly realised I turned all of this off due to recording a video yesterday. Let's put it all back on, shall we? Let me turn down the in-game audio for you a little bit as well. Pre-patch after remix ends? No. No. Remix ends on the 19th. The game launches on the 22nd. Pre-patch will overlap with the end of remix. So it's going to be... I can't... That's going to be so busy, right? I'm going to be wanting to do whatever the pre-patch thing is, which I haven't looked into yet. I know the video's out on it already. The pre-patch is going to be a thing. We're going to be cashing out and finalizing any remix stuff. Also, we're going to be getting probably final, release candidate builds on the beta to get some final last-minute testing done. I'm also trying to put together everything guide-wise for the launch of the expansion on top. Oh my god, I'm going to need to find not just a 25th, but like a 26th and 27th hour in a day. I'm going to have to find a way to not sleep for about a month. I don't know how that's possible. We're going to have to do it though. It's a bugged mess, but it's simple to do with the go zones, kill things, get rewards. Oh, okay, it was one of those. Alright, that's fine. I won't be too bothered then. I think you need a timeline banner. Well, my desktop background is now... I can't minimize the game to show you, but my desktop background is now the splash graphic that was floating around with all of the timeline. Yeah, I could do with a bar or something at the top, couldn't I? Something that just says what we're focusing on today, what the timeline is. That could be quite cool. We'll figure that out. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Right, let's play with Enchanting then. No, okay. That one. Enchant goes on the bars. Disenchant probably goes on the bars. Let's take a little bit of a look at some of the recipes before we get too deep into it. Bismuth rods, shattering essences, writhing sample, crystalline sample, ley line residue, iridescent spores. Okay. Does that mean that these are going to operate? Okay, okay, I'm liking that. That's it. Okay, sure. Dust, shards, crystals. Not changing from the golden trio. We like crests, crests, crests. Concentration, concentrate. I like this. I like the name of this. Concentration, concentrate. Would you like some concentrated concentration? You use 3% less. Generous. 4% less and presumably 5% less as well. 5% less concentration. Sure. All of these finishing reagents, I didn't really... I wonder if they're going to double down on this. Or am I the odd one out here? I didn't really find that finishing reagents were that interesting in Dragonflight. Most often, I considered using finishing reagents as an actual net loss. Because the cost of the finishing reagent was more than the perceived value you could gain by using it. Which meant for me, I nearly never ever used them. No, they were rubbish. Vibrant polishing cloth was the only good one. You see, this is it, right? It's a simple maths equation. If it costs too much to get the finishing reagent, if it costs more than it's going to give you, you just don't use them. Which I hope they consider that more this time round. Because I think it's an interesting concept, you know. It also spreads the love between professions. That's kind of the good thing about it. It's like somebody makes a finishing reagent and they get to sell it to others, and those others make another finishing reagent and they get to sell it back. It's, you know, it grows the web that is the economy if it works. Otherwise, it's just another item on your list that you ignore, which is sometimes a shame. Salad on the side worked for a little bit. Yeah, it's all a pricing thing, isn't it? All of the Ashkahet is a bugged mess with mining and herbalism. I got sent some I got sent some pictures yesterday of like 500 nodes up all in one go. I was like, okay, sure. Maybe it's deliberate for testing purposes. Maybe it's deliberate for testing purposes. Maybe they've just, you know, turned the spawn timers to 11 or something. Opium. Mirror powder. Multi-craft when crafting consumables. Well, that's instantly a good one. If it's valuable, if its price is not too much. You always shoot for multi-craft where possible. Was there any spicy materials that jump out at me with enchanting? Oils. Fusion of alchemical weave and artisanal prowess. Kaheti dark alchemy. The sell price on these makes me think these are vendor items. A feigned tinderbox. Yeah, I'm almost convinced these are vendor items. Ringing Deep's ingot. That screams vendor item and all. Permanently enchant a weapon with the authority of the storms. Your abilities have a chance to imbue you, causing further abilities to sometimes unleash lightning. So it's an AoE weapon enchant. Got it. Permanently enchants a chess piece to increase your intellect by 77 and mana pool by 3%. Cannot be applied to items below. Yeah, they've categorized these weirdly. I can't be the only one that likes it when they categorize them by the armor piece that they go on, right? This is like chest piece, chest piece, chest piece, weapon. Not, what's this one? Okay, maybe they are a little bit. Gathering tool. Yeah, I'd like having it categorized by the type. Yeah, it's just annoying. It's just annoying to find them, isn't it? Because I'm not gonna remember. The weapon the enchants for your. Yeah, it's just not easy navigation, is it? Everything everywhere completely messed up. Lots of ore in tunnel to Ashkahet. Then I went into the zone and realised it was bugged. Maybe I should take advantage of that and go do some mining to go test it out. Who the hell wants to try and make a mana potion and then has to figure out first whether it's a frost or air potion? Yeah, exactly. This is it. Like, you want to go to the section that says mana potions. These are the 3 or 4, you know, these are your choice of mana potions. Like Nerubian enchants, Aratha enchants, Earthen enchantments. I don't care. Put them in a proper order. Put them in a proper order, please. These gleeful glamours could be interesting. If, once again, these are another ones. These already look like they're too expensive. Dust is historically 3 gold a piece. Leyline residue, a shard is roughly 10 to 15 gold a piece. That means it's going to cost somebody 20 gold, 15 gold, an appearance change. They both have to be cheap enough for people to want to buy them, but they're not expensive enough for you to try and craft all of them and actively try and sell them. This is the catch-22 with this sort of stuff. I mean, you might... If there's one that somebody likes, somebody might come along and buy a stack of 20, though. That's the thing, I suppose. A lot of different ones. A lot of different things to keep listed. Enchanting not being sorted properly looks like they took a page out of the... Yeah, Classic's the same. Yeah, Classic's all over the place. Yeah. You can't guarantee this at rank 3 without concentration. What, really? Oh, 450. Holy smoke. Yeah. Sure. Although Dust and Residue, these have... Oh, no, hang on. Have they reversed that? Is that not a thing anymore?
Looking for something special?
Time is money, friend.
Hang on, give me some mats. Thought they added material quality to enchanting mats. We're probably going to need some of these. Why is Enchanting Vellum there twice? I buy the wrong one.
Looking for something special?
Assume it's in geology and rocks. No, assumed wrong.
Pale.
The flipping hell of the enchanting mats. Hello? Have I been dumb? Did I just fly past them? I'm gonna just buy one of those bags in a minute. Must have zipped past them. Where the hell's the...
Well met.
What brings you here?
Okay, apparently they don't exist. First page? Oh! Oh, Storm Dust Gleaming Shards. Only at quality 3 though. So I can't not buy quality 3 ones. And they've made them mad Okay, well you're kind of twisting my hand here, aren't you? I'm going to have to buy one of those bags that has everything in it. General goods, alchemy, enchanting goods.
Walk with the earth, mother.
Oh. This also only gives me quality 3 stuff. Is it not going to let us test things? Okay. I want quality 1 mats to test what the difference is. Guess we are not allowed. Alright, well, figure that out in a minute. What was I doing? But yeah, these are like 450. If you need to use concentration on these, what's the difference between a quality 1, a quality 2, and a 2-hour cooldown, 2-hour cooldown, 20 to 60 minutes? Why would you even use a quality 3 one? Quality 1 is for 20 minutes. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay. Alright, we'll get there. We'll get there. Right, let's open the... I'm clearly tired this morning because I'm slow. Nope, that's engineering. I really am slow. Lord, this coffee needs to kick in. I shouldn't be doing any serious level of testing before I've got caffeine in my system. God. For some reason you can't buy the Q1 or Q2 from the vendors, but you can get it via Thaumaturgy. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you can. Yeah, that's right. Alright, well, let's have a little bit of a play, see what we're going to do then. The materials we use right now doesn't make the huge difference for the purpose of testing, but it is one thing that is nice to test, how just to make sure that the material qualities are doing what they should do in terms of skill, but we're going to need our rod, aren't we? We get to make our own basic tool from the word go, so there's no reason not to do that. What do we get? Inspiration. Oh god, we'll try again. We'll try again. Inspiration. Delete. Crafting speed. I'll take that for now. Can we disenchant these?
I can't use that.
Apparently not. Right. Make our own tool. I'll just put everything on vellums for now. Permanent enchant ring with a glimmer of Belladar, increasing haste by 35. 2-hour cooldown still sucks though, even with the 60-minute duration. Yeah, why can't you? What? I don't know why they choose to do this. That's a fun detected thing in my books. Why are you not just letting... If people want to change their... You know, if they want to use something to change their appearance, let them use something to change their appearance. Why put it on a cooldown? I never understand this. It's an issue for almost all the cosmetics. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Anything use snowballs? Not that I've seen yet. Yeah, I don't think you're going to add snowballs again. Nerubian enchantments. I'm going by the theory that all of these values might change soon, so I'm not paying too much attention to what materials are needed here. Let's get to 25 so we can have a look at the spec trees. That's really sort of the main thing I'm shooting for now. They're going to be expensive to make at the beginning, depending on what this ley line residue. Substance containing light hints of remnant arcane energy can be bought and sold at the auction house. They need to get rid of inspiration next build, hopefully. If they can get rid of inspiration next build, it will make the testing feel a lot better. I think this coming, whenever they launch the beta next week, will be, hopefully, a build worthy enough of like some actual proper deep testing. If they are going to do a balance on concentration numbers, they need to get some of the reagents fixed for stuff. If they can get that sort of stuff done pretty quick, it'll be a big win. These are quite generous numbers of dust needed for each enchant, though. Like I said, I am not suspecting these numbers will stay the same, but 15 dust. Like I said, dust historically can be anywhere from like 3 gold a piece to 10 gold a piece early expansion. Sometimes even more. I think they've struggled the last few expansions to make enchants both both useful enough, but also getting the pricing right on them. We don't want a situation again where we've got like 100k weapon enchants. That was broken. Not to mention we had 100k weapon enchants at the very same time there was a flipping exploit going around to guarantee yourself quality 3, which was dumb. We really need that not to be a thing as well. What is Mr. GM doing? He keeps logging on and off like a yo-yo. Clearly recording some footage for a video. Keep seeing him pop on and log off again, but on different characters. He's a man on a mission. Literally a man on a mission. Oils. These are nice and cheap. Weapon oils again. Right, let's get to 25 just so we can see the trees. We're already 213 skill. How the flipping hell have we got? Okay, so this is the impact, right, of quality 3 materials now. What's 40% of 450? 450 multiplied by 0.4. 180. So we're getting 180 skill just because we're using quality 3 storm dust here. Then we're only gaining 8 skill from somewhere else. How does that work? Should we not be getting... Oh, we're getting 25 from up here. 180 plus 8. Why have we got plus 8? This is giving us the plus 8. Okay, so... Okay. Is this a new thing? Didn't usually put this number here, did it? It does on live, does it? Not yes, usually there. I think it. Okay. Either way, I like the fact that if it's going to show the accumulation of your skill from your tools up here, sure. Just a transparency thing. Where is all of this skill coming from? Right, what we got in here then? 4 spec trees. Supplementary shattering. Specialize in shattering the magical essences of Kazangar, gleaning fleeting but increasing potential. Increasingly potent crafting bonuses from the magic within. Your studies will also benefit your concentration. Learn to shatter magical essences, gaining temporary bonuses that improve the more you specialize. Improve the efficiency of your concentration and your ingenuity. Improve your multi-crafter yield for consumable products. Learn the art of shattering the magical essences of Kazangar. Temporarily empowering your resourcefulness, your multi-craft, and your ingenuity. Additionally, your studies will grant you +1 ingenuity per point in this specialization. Oh, it's the blacksmithing buff again. It's just the blacksmithing buff again. Sure. Learn how to shatter essence. Do we not already have that? Oh no, we don't. That's here. Consume 2% less concentration when concentrating on Kazangar Enchanting Rest. Is concentration gonna work backwards? Are you gonna be able to use concentration on Dragonflight stuff? I'm sure that question's been asked, but it's not one that I've thought about yet. Not that that's really gonna have any impact whatsoever. Probably worded for the next expansion, maybe. I mean, it would fix the problem, wouldn't it? Not that anybody's going to be pushing to make Dragonflight stuff once the War Within comes out anyway, but just like for completeness purposes. I hadn't even thought about concentration being used on past stuff. Okay. What did we get by putting points in here? One ingenuity per point. Resourcefulness, multicraft, and ingenuity while affected by Shatter Essence. Consume 3% less concentration. Shatter Essence lasts 5 minutes more. Consume 5% less concentration. Gain resourcefulness, multicraft, and ingenuity. Lasts 5 additional minutes. Gain 10 resourcefulness, multicraft, ingenuity whilst affected by it. What's that? 10, 15, 20. Plus 20 stats on whatever the base is. Okay. There's some speed enchants that might get used next expansion. Maybe. Yeah, maybe there is some stuff that might carry forward. Magnificent multicrafting. Improve at your enchanting matrices. Increasing your probability of producing additional items when crafting illusions or reagents. Additionally, you gain 1 multicraft per point spent in this spec. Multicraft grants up to 25% additional goods when crafting deceptive decoration. Is that these things? Deceptive decoration. What a deceptive decoration? It's got to be these things, right? Once again, wording is super important here. If you're going to use a phrase like deceptive decorations, which you've got capital letters there referring to the fact that it's a name of something, it should also, maybe these are meant to be called deceptive. Maybe they've changed the names to Gleeful Glamours at some point. Maybe that was either a early version or maybe this is what they're going to be called. Okay. Okay. I'm going to assume it's those. Gain 10 additional multi-craft when affected by the Shattered Essence. Multi-crafting grants up to 25% additional. And crafting finishing reagents and mana oils. Multi-craft grants up to 25% additional goods when crafting deceptive decorations again. Gain an additional 10 multi-craft while affected by Shattered Essence. Multi-craft grants up to 25% additional when doing finishing reagents and mana oils again. Okay, so this is your This is your multi-craft tree. Does that mean one of these is your resourcefulness tree? Of course it does. Resourcefulness refunds 5% more materials when crafting enchanting formulas. Do enchants, for the most part, not okay. Yeah, this was one of the where multi-craft exists, you always spec into multi-craft. Okay, always is a strong word. 90% of the time you spec into multi-craft when it's available. Because just straight up more of something is usually worth more than a percentage of its cost back. Very rare occasions it worked the other way, but very rare. I laughed when I saw the launch trailer. It consists of the old cinematics. 80% of the old cinematics. Some wowhead comments, also brilliant. What a wonderful trailer. Catching up the whole history of WoW. The entire lore of the game summarized in a 2-minute trailer. Okay, so actual enchants appear as if you're not gaining anything from multicraft at any point, so there is still reason to spec to make a choice here. Nothing seems to do anything overly interesting yet other than just give you more secondary stats. Immaculate Ingenuity. Okay, we've seen this before. Ingenious Breakthroughs refund an additional 5% of the concentration spent. Yeah, this is practically the exact same. In fact, this is almost a copy-paste of the blacksmithing tree, isn't it? That gives you your buff and gives you some ingenuity, gives you some resourcefulness, gives you some multi-craft. This is your stats tree. Some flat stats tree. Designated Disenchanter. Initial thoughts on enchanting so far? Oh well, give me a chance. We're only one spec tree down. We'll get there. We'll get there. You gonna make YouTube videos on the professions again? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm just not rushing it this time. I'm not rushing it. I want to wait until I've got a good overview of everything first. We have an expansion launch date now. We know when we need the information by. As long as I can get it done before then, it's all good. There's something to be said on YouTube about being first. It usually does equate to a few extra bonus views by being first. But I'd rather just take my time, honestly, than rushing. We got plenty of stuff to do, plenty of time. I mean, for starters, I'm not first because I didn't have the alpha, so I can now take my time, figure stuff out, and then put something productive together. Is my plan. I also have a document that is about its ever-growing mind. It's already 62 pages long of just all within info. So I'm once I've got everything sorted in my head, share the love. Do you have Grinning Reaver mount by any chance? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. Right, designated disenchanter. We're gonna get a spec tree just for disenchant bros. Master your disenchanting capabilities, maximizing the quality of the reagents you receive when you destroy items. Increases the quality of enchanting reagents created through disenchanting. Increase your quantity of storm dust and gleaming shards you receive. Unlock the ability to sometimes extract magical essences when disenchanting epic items. Magical essences. Is that going to be these things? Leyline residue. Master your fundamental disenchanting ritual, maximizing the quality of reagents you create when destroying items. Gain +1 skill per point in this specialization when disenchanting. Skill when disenchanting items. Disenchanting doesn't have like a thing though. How do you ever see what your skill is at disenchanting something? Are there any green items I can...
I can't use that.
Can I...
Peace, friend. Ancestors watch.
Can I quickly make some basic green items? Disenchant them.
Walk with the earth.
This is a squirrel and a half, but... Oh, this is also odd. Fashions don't make anything that's even green. I guess they do, but I guess it's the fashion tools maybe?
I've been expecting you. May the eternal sun
I guess we'll figure that out.
upon
I guess we'll figure that out. Skill when disenchanting, sub-spec, skill when disenchanting, sub-spec, skill when disenchanting, sub-spec. Master your fundamental rituals, increasing skill by 20 when disenchanting Kazalgar equipment. Okay. You disenchant stuff from the box. Find out. Usually you can't, but...
I can't use that.
No,
I can't use that.
no.
I can't use that. I can't use that.
Nope. Cannot disenchant stuff from the box.
Yeah, what do you want?
Oh, is there something that's green that could be disenchantable that I can buy? Just for testing purposes? Again, probably not. Alright, we'll worry about that later. We'll worry about that later. Okay, so something to be better at disenchanting. Sure, we've got to figure that out. Epic escalations. Practice your most complex disenchanting formulas. Your skill by 1 per point in this specialization when disenchanting epic equipment. +5 skill when disenchanting epic equipment. Okay, this really does lead me to believe that there should be some UI interface for disenchanting then. Is it just that I haven't? No. Okay, maybe they've not added it yet. Feels like a bait talent early on. A very bait talent early on, based upon the fact that you're unlikely to find epic equipment for quite some time anyway. You're unlikely to find much epic gear until Season 1 begins. Press K. Well, yeah, you have Disenchanting here, but it doesn't give you an interface. I know where the spell button is, but it doesn't tell you what your actual skill with Disenchanting is. There's no UI, there's no interface or anything like that for it. So how do you know what your skill is? No visible way of seeing what your skill actually is. For the purpose of strictly Disenchanting, because it's not like it's not a craft. You have a chance to extract some Khazalgar native magical essences when you're disenchanting epic items. Plus 10 skill when disenchanting epic equipment. Do they all say equipment? They do. Your disenchanting formulas are fully attuned, increasing your chances of extracting Khazalgar native magical essences when disenchanting epic stuff. Okay. Uncommon, rare, and epic. Oh, so these are exactly the same, just for the different rarities of stuff. You have a chance to create more storm dust when you disenchant uncommon stuff. Your chances of creating additional storm dust when disenchanting uncommon equipment is increased. I hate when they do this. I hate when they just say is increased. By what? Like, I know it's the final node in the tree, you're going to get it anyway. But I would much prefer if they'd give you, like, finite, like, you will gain 1 bonus storm dust. You know, it could be so much more clear. Just increase. Is it increased all the time? Is it increased on a chance? Like, what's... This is what I think they could and probably should work on. Getting rid of the ambiguity of a lot of the nodes. Or gleaming shards. Your disenchanting formula for rare items gains new efficiencies and has a chance to leave behind additional materials from the item you disenchant. Your disenchanting formula for rare items. It does sound like they are going to make it a thing, right? It's going to have its own thing, and you'll be able to select disenchanting, put an item in. It will show you your skill. I just don't think they've put the UI in for it yet. I think. I would hope. Sure they know this, but alright, well that entire tree then is purely about disenchanting. Nothing is going to benefit you in any other way whatsoever. And I wonder if once again this is going to be that if you just pick up enchanting, like this is, you know, I've spoken about this a few times in terms of how they are really trying to separate the specializations. They're trying to make the specializations more apparent and more obvious. They're also trying to make the difference between them greater, right? for example, if you are going to focus on like actually enchanting shit and selling it, you are unlikely to also be very good at disenchanting and getting the materials. Meaning, much like jewel crafting, where prospecting is a big thing, you, even as an enchanter, might look to be buying your materials off somebody else rather than disenchanting stuff. Rather than like doing if you might pair up a disenchanting spec enchanter with a profession gear tailor, for example, hypothetically. So the tailor becomes really optimal at making the green low-level profession gear, so much so that you can then also disenchant it, your enchanter. You know, that you have to specialize, and you might be able to build some synergy in there if you really want to, but they separate them out. Fuck you if they want to skill up anything except crafting epics. That's the point, though, right? That's the point. They want to make it so that if you choose to go in one path, you're not only you're just straight up not able to do the other thing. Which at least for the early season, I like. I'm still somewhat of the opinion that you shouldn't ever really be able to fill the trees. It might feel a bit harsh for some players, but I would actually have liked it if they'd gone as far as to say there's 4 trees every profession, and you can only ever on one character have access to 2 of them. That sort of level of restriction emphasizes the choice. Now, some players just get around that by having, well, another character with enchant. You just double everything up, but that's double the effort. It should be rewarded accordingly. I still somewhat disagree that these spec trees are really spec trees when eventually you can fill all of them. Eventually you can be the jack of all trades. When everybody is a jack of all trades, then technically nobody's specialized. Which we saw in Dragonflight. It took people the first patch to fill their spec trees. By the time patch 10.1 landed, I had most of my spec trees full. Most of my professions, and so then technically I could do anything I wanted. But so could everybody else. So the specialization side of it was just gone. Like within one patch, specialization was just gone. It was really fun for the first couple of weeks, first couple of months, when some people could do this, some people could do that, but that tapered off very quickly. Remember Gnome and Goblin Engineering? Yeah, way back in vanilla they did this, where you had to pick a path. You pick a path and you go for it. I sort of get where you're coming from, but realistically, I think that at the top end, that specialization is meaningless. Bottom end, it means often the only option to get out of poor choices is unlearn and start over again. Yeah. It's a more hardcore approach for sure, which maybe might not appeal masses, which is why they don't do it. Yeah, alchemy masteries back in the day as well. Potion mastery, elixir mastery, flask mastery. Those created some actual specialization. I don't feel like these ever feel like specializations much past the time it takes somebody to fill one and start filling the second, you know? But that's a real fundamental change that clearly isn't going to be a thing, so I can talk about that all I like, but it's not happening, so. Alright, so we have the blacksmithing buff tree. Blacksmithing buff tree, the disenchanting tree. Are we going to get one that actually benefits enchants soon? Improve the quality of your permanent enchants. Learn a variety of new formula to improve your gear. Reduce the amount of concentration needed to concentrate on a permanent enchant when fully spec'd into it. Have a look at this then. Okay, this looks more like the kind of tree I'd expect to see. Master the art of magical matrices that help permanently improve pieces of equipment, gaining +1 skill per point in this specialization. Ambiguous again. I know what it means because I've played the game a lot, but it's ambiguous. It doesn't tell people, like, +1 skill per point in this spec. +1 skill to what? Magical matrices that help permanently improve pieces of equipment. Just tell me what it works on, right? Tell me, like, armor enchants. Spell it out. Gotta spell it out for people. Armor enchants. Nitpick. +5 skill for all permanent enchants. Learn a sub-spec of your choice. +5 skill, sub-spec, skill, sub-spec. Crafting speed and ingenuity and resourcefulness whilst crafting permanent enchants. They're giving you ingenuity at the end again. The ingenuity at the end seems like an odd thing for me. Because giving you ingenuity by the time you've got to the end of this tree means you've also gained enough skill to probably be practically guaranteeing stuff anyway. The time you need your ingenuity is at the beginning, when you haven't got the skill and you are really crossing your fingers every time for ingenuity to proc. By the time you've got all of the skill, it's a moot point. Maybe. Earthen enhancements. Rather alter. Oh, that's why. That's why the recipe list is annoying to navigate, because they've doubled down on it in the spec trees. Look. Oh. So you choose which category of enchantments that you want to be better at. You don't just pick weapon enchants. This time you pick earthen enchants, and that will give you a weapon enchant, some other stuff, and some other stuff. Oh, okay. So the answer there is quite simple. You find the weapon enchant that you suspect is going to be the best, one that everybody is going to want, and you spec in that direction, and anything else you can craft is a bonus. It's so easy to gamify this shit. Right, Authority of Storms, what do you do? Lightning AoE damage. What do you do? Protective Wind to your aid when taking damage that absorbs the next, but that's the tank one. Boring. Healing allies. Boring. Chant weapon dealing damage has a chance to call upon the authority, smiting your target for 50k radiant damage and temporarily increasing your primary stat. Single target plus stat boost. Single target plus stat boost. Potentially very good. Damaging foes may invoke the authority, applying suffocating darkness to them and periodically inflicting 10,000 shadow damage. Darkness deepens with each invocation up to 3 times. Stacking dot. Raid boss. Probably best solution. Okay. So there's not strictly one that stands out as being the best. You'd imagine this is for the early days where people can't do more than 1 to 2 spec windows. You know how many people made the wrong choice early in Dragonflight, and it's going to happen again. Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday. The NPC work orders giving you a catch-up system is great, but that still doesn't allow people to right their wrongs, which was a huge complaint very early on in Dragonflight from many people who didn't have the beta, didn't have much time to play with it, were presented with an entirely new system, had no understanding or, you know, there was nothing to indicate that your choices were like permanent. Spent some spec points because they got some spec points. They wanted to see what the spec points did. Spent them poorly, and then were just bricked. You know, no amount of catch up was gonna alleviate their initial problem, which was that if they spent points incorrectly, heaven forbid, you unlocked a few different trees and you started putting points in all of the different trees. Like, sure, there's something to be said if you don't read what you're doing and you just do shit. Like, sometimes there are repercussions to your actions, but in a video game, it shouldn't be that brutal. There needs to be some way to right your wrongs other than delete the character, start again. I don't think we should have a fair system when it comes to economy-related stuff in WoW, but they should absolutely explain spec trees better. If they do go down the lines of more aggressively capping the amount of knowledge you can gain, if they, you know, quite literally put like a 20 knowledge per week upper limit or something, excluding first-time crafts, if they put like an actual hard capped upper limit to the amount of knowledge you can acquire each reset and then use NPC work orders as a catch-up for people,
Hello there.
that also then technically means at major points they can provide like one-time respecs players as well. Or they can implement something that is like a cost. Maybe it knocks you back a couple of weeks of progress and you're going to have to work through more NPC work orders to catch back up again. So it's a significant disadvantage to you to reset your spec trees. You've got to be careful how you provide these respecs. It's got to be kiss curse. You've got to make it so that people don't use them unless they really feel they absolutely need to. But if they cap the progress that players can make, they can, like, even up major content patches. When 11.1 lands, they you know, there could be a quest line that you could do that resets all of your talent, your knowledge points back to 0 and allows you to go again in a different path, which would rectify a wrong. But I don't know. I think they need to do something. I'm with you. I don't think they should make things fair, because when it's fair, nobody wins, right? Nobody wins when everything's fair. Because you're not all in when you're trying to make gold from these systems. The only reason you make gold is because somebody else isn't. Harsh reality. You make gold because somebody else is losing it. Because when people run out of respecs, they still didn't pay attention, or something new comes better with balancing. Instantly complaints start again. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you'd implement it so it works, but I think they need to do something. So that's my only thing. I think they need to do something. The catch-up system is halfway there. Once we get NPC work orders, that's halfway there. It means people will at least be able to feel like they can take a week off and then come back and do a few extra NPC orders and kind of catch back up. But that's still not going to make a blind bit of difference if they put their points in the wrong tree in the first place. Respecs is not a solution. Or maybe individual node, like, refunds. Similar to how Diablo did their, what are they called? Paragon boards. Maybe an ever-increasing refund cost per node, right? You can put points in, but it's 5,000 gold to take a point out. 5,000 gold, then 6,000 gold, then 7,000 gold, then 8,000 gold, then 10,000 gold. You know, ever increasing costs to remove points. Meaning you might, if you make a mistake, want to take a few points out here or there. But because it ever stacks up in terms of cost, then you could, then that would really, you know, that would disincentivize. I don't know if that's the word. I use that word too often. It would sort of restrict people from just swapping and changing things around too willy-nilly. You don't want people to be able to put points in a whole bunch of things, craft a bunch of things, then take those points out, put them in something else, then craft a bunch of things, because people will do that. But something, maybe not full resets. You might be right there, Zan. Maybe full resets is not really, it doesn't mix well with the system. But something that allows you to at least undo some errors. Maybe. In small quantities. I don't know. Something. Does Enchanting have, again, a point where you can just pick up epic enchanting crystals? Well, there is an entire tree that's designated to Disenchanting. Or, just hear me out, get rewarded for effort. Yeah, don't fuck up in the first place. Yeah, that is true. Use the artisan's metal to reset points. Yeah, I'm not sure what the solution is. I think they need to do something. It doesn't have to be so broad as like fully resetting trees. But, you know, some bad luck protection system or something, yeah. Or some idiot protection system. Hang on, I'll be back in 2. Can you disenchant somebody's epic item through the trade window for them? I have not tried. I don't know. I have not tried. Specialize into the art of earthen enchanting. Draw upon their magic and runes to empower weapons, tools, chest armors, gaining +1 skill point in this specialization whilst forming earthen enchantment. Skill, ingenuity. Good. Give ingenuity early on. I like that. Skill, resourcefulness, skill. Okay. Other than okay, pretty dumb basic node. Wondrous weapons, terrific tools, bolstered breastplates. Focus your efforts on earthen weapon enhancements, gaining +1 skill in them. Learn the authority of Storm's formula. Okay, so this is actually going to how you get the formulas in the first place for some of them. Skill. Consume 5% less concentration when concentrating on earthen weapon enchantment. Once again, either you are never going to guarantee these at top quality anyway and are always going to rely on concentration. Even if that is the case, I would like these concentration and ingenuity bonuses to be closer to the front. This is as deep in this tree as you can possibly get. The roots have gone so far down at this point. You are probably also next to nearly guaranteeing stuff and using very little concentration in the first place. Which means that to get a bonus to use 5% less concentration when you're not using concentration anyway, this would be useful if you had to use 100 concentration for every enchant. But by the time that you've got here, I would suspect that you're maybe only using 10 or 15 concentration anyway. So that's going to be like, you're just going to consume 1 less concentration. Whoop-de-doo. Like, by that point, it doesn't matter. These sorts of bonuses need to be much further up the tree so that they can be actually effective at the beginning and for longer. Hello, wife. Sorry, hang on. What are we doing? What are we doing? Should I invest in crafting equipment now for my crafters in preparation for the War Within? Or is that not relevant next expansion? Unlikely to be relevant. Unlikely to be relevant. There's new ones that are much bigger and juicier that you would probably want to use. What's going on here? The design philosophy for crafting difficulty in the War Within is that a well-owned crafter who is fully specialized, equipped in the best crafting tools, and quality 3 reagents guarantee maximum quality on every craft, with a few targeted exceptions on certain non-equipment crafts. Yeah, that certain non-equipment crafts, indicating maybe that things like your weapon enchants will be things that they determine to be they will determine it as being something that you will never be able to guarantee. But either way, it's odd. Let me check something. Hang on. Wife bought me some lunch, which nice. Consumables and intermediate mats. Yeah, the intermediate mats, for me, that seems like a really good place to use concentration. If you can get to the point where crafting gear for other people, you eventually don't need it, then you switch your focus with your concentration onto the intermediate mats. And even then, so when maybe the market for crafted gear dies down, you can put more focus into intermediates. Use your concentration there, guarantee a few more top quality intermediates until the the gear crafting market comes back again. Does your wife, by the way, know what you're talking about for 6 hours a day? She knows I play World of Warcraft. She doesn't truly understand the whole concept of this. need to fix. Live in the UK, you don't have a... You live in the UK and you don't have carpet in the living room. Hashtag jealous. Oh, I don't live in the UK. Which is also why I don't have carpet in the living room. Yeah, exactly the reason why. So what else we got? Terrific tools. Bolstered breastplates. This is all the same old, I guess. Algari ingenuity formula. Profession tool enhancement. Profession tool enhancement. Skill. Then concentration reduction when you don't need it anymore. This is going to require a little bit of testing to like put points only in this route. See if we are actually guaranteeing top quality stuff by that point. And if we are, then these end nodes consuming 5% less concentration are pointless. And I have my suspicions they might be. Since they have concentration and ingenuity at the end, obviously going to matter. Well, the only thing that makes me think that, yeah, that will be the case is that they've said that the spec trees are mostly finished. And one thing we do know categorically they haven't finished, the difficulty and the materials that go into each of the crafts, so... I suspect then this entire tree is practically the same old. You just pick one of 3 directions. Wrathy weapon enhancements. It is interesting actually that you're going to have to spec like in all different directions before you have access to all weapon enhancement. In terms of the fact that in Dragonflight you could just beeline for weapon enchantments and then do everything with weapon enchantment. Whereas now you are going to have to go in like different routes to even get the weapon enchantments, different zones. Is there any interesting nodes, any of these, other than just here have some skill points? They all seem pretty much the same. Yeah, they all look exactly the same. Okay, that's a pretty easy one then. What we got in this one? I hate the fact that there's not a single thing about this system that I like. Oh dear. Oh dear. Best thing about carpet is when you move a piece of furniture and you see the actual colour of the carpet and realise that no amount of hoovering will keep a carpet clean. Well, hoovering isn't cleaning. This is the big misconception, isn't it? There's only one room in the house where I think carpet is really valid. And for me, that's the bedroom. But that's only because I'm a bit of a princess when it comes to sleep. I like big duvet. I like cushy, soft carpet in the bedroom. In the bathroom, especially on the toilet for that fuzzy warm feeling. I mean, that's band talk. That is right there. You put carpet in the bathroom, you're a moron. Absolute donkey in carpet in the bathroom. Especially around the toilet. Lord have mercy. As a gentleman, I fully understand that sometimes we miss. Not against our control. Sometimes the python takes over and he spits in multiple directions. Have you not seen the psychos that put velvet on the toilet seat? Your definition of psychos is pretty spot on there. If you're putting velvet on the toilet seat, you need to go through a psychoanalysis pretty quick. My family member has developed a dust allergy. We have to get rid of all carpets. Good, good. Good to getting rid of carpets, by the way. Not good that your family member has an allergy. What's on the menu? Oh, just some pasta, salad stuff. Nothing particularly fancy. But beautiful for the fact that I didn't have to make it and it was. I'm sure there's a YouTube video from a urologist explaining the phenomenon of split stream P and how it means you probably have something stuck there that shouldn't be. Potentially. Depends what you were doing with it before, doesn't it really? Needs an oil change. Do with an MOT. Three carpets in the bathroom, one in front of the tub, one in front of the sink, and one in front of the toilet. After a shower, we play the floor is lava with the ice cold tiles. See, this is where this country has it right. Finland has the right idea. Nearly every single bathroom in Finland is what you'd consider a wet room. So, tiled floors, tiled partially up the walls as well, if not all the way. The floor is ever so slightly sloped, and you have a drain in the middle of your bathroom. And if you're really clever, you have underfloor heating. And so all of those problems don't exist. And that's not being a fancy pants either. That's like pretty standard in this country. When they build a bathroom, they tile the floor. They tile up the walls. That's just it, right? Heated floors is not if you're fancy. Underfloor heating for tiles ain't cheap. You build a house properly, it is. Oh no, there's a dog hair in me pasta. Oh god. The dog hair. Well, eating worse. Oh, okay. I converted my living room from radiator to underfloor. Dead simple. Yeah, it's really not difficult. Obviously, in a bathroom, if you're tiling the floor, you need to do it before you tile the floor, obviously. But other rooms in the house, installing underfloor heating, not difficult. I should also clarify that underfloor heating done properly doesn't use wire, doesn't use electric to heat. You use water. That's the proper way to do it. Which basically means you take the radiators off your walls, you put them under your floor, run water through the pipes under your floor. It's a significantly more efficient way of heating rooms. It basically makes your entire floor one big radiator. Since heat rises, it works evenly to evenly heat the entire room. So much better than radiators. Anyway, what's this one? Ephemerals, enrichments, and equipment. Affect the art of temporary illusions, equipment, reagents, and mana oils. Plus, it doesn't give you a molten hot metal rod to burn yourself on. Well, yeah, true, and that. Yeah. Yeah, because heat rises. So if you have radiators on the walls, you get nice hot spots of heat by the wall. You don't get any heat in the middle of the room. Radiators are super inefficient. This is an odd-looking tree. It's like missing a few over here. Embrace the art of formulas related to illusions, equipment, reagents, and consumables. Gaining +1 skill per point in this spec whilst crafting them. On learning it, gain +5 skill when crafting ephemerals, enrichments, and equipment. The hell are ephemerals? Is that these things again? I mean, I want to point out with this, right? I need to point out that English is my main and only language, and if I'm questioning this, and I don't consider myself a dum-dum, not generally, ephemerals, I presume, is the deceptive decorations again. It's got the, okay, right, it must be those illusion things. Master your flavorful illusions. Deceptive decoration. Okay. They really need to fix the wording on. Tammy, I've DM'd you on Discord. Any interesting notes? Nodes. Skill when crafting, subspec. Skill when crafting, subspec. Skill when crafting, subspec. Crafting speed and ingenuity again. Okay. They're not being too creative with the nodes here. There's nothing that really... I suppose this is feeling very much like blacksmithing to me. You're going to have your buff, and then you just go about your business as you go about your business. We need PTU to make a wonderful profession add-on. Oh my god, could you imagine? Yeah. They need to hire that guy. Absolute whiz. Plus skill when crafting temporary illusions. Learn to craft something new. Learn to craft something new. Ingenuity when crafting them. Skill when crafting them. Resourcefulness when crafting them. Skill when crafting them. Consume less concentration. They really are banking on these being something that people care about, aren't they? And I'm not sure people do. It'll be a side hustle, maybe. Material Maestro. Improve your material matrices for formulas that create reagents and consumable mana oils. Gaining +1 skill per point in the spec. What are these materials they talk of? What intermediate materials make? Oh, crests. Crests are considered reagents then, because they're optional crafting reagents. Okay. That could be plus the concentration concentrate. Okay, that could be a desired path for people for sure. For those enchanters that just want to make crests. Skill when crafting usable equipment. Ingenuity when crafting equipment. Okay. Finalize finishers. Practice creating special finishing reagents to empower the crafts of others. Oh, this is where you get that concentration concentrate formula from. There's quite a lot of enchanting though that is hidden behind the spec trees. You're gonna have to get quite far into some of the trees to unlock the recipes. So it's going to be your call really whether you think that something's going to be valuable enough to beeline towards it nice and early. And then oils, you learn to create potent mana oils used to temporarily empower the weapon. Heroes of Azeroth gaining. Okay, learn the Oil of Beladar Graces formula. Mana oils, mana oils, mana oils. Skill and concentration reduction with mana oil. Nothing really screaming fun here, if I'm honest. Compared to some of the other professions, this is very simple, very straightforward, very much kind of what you'd expect. No flavor, I guess. Specialize in the art of synthesizing. That doesn't feel like a finished tooltip, does it? Stopped halfway through a word. +5 skill when crafting usable equipment. Yeah, that's clearly not finished. Profession stuff. Master the art of creating better enchanting rods, providing better quality tools for enchanters world over with +1 skill per point in them. Learn the runed Ironclaw rod. Is that the big one? Is that the big one that we're going to care about? Runed Ironclaw rod. Yeah, that's where you're going to get your big boy enchanting rods from. So enchanters are responsible for making that themselves. Cool. That might mean we might see these quite early on. Just dive straight to it and unlock it. As long as somebody on your server has done it, job done. It'll be funny when nobody on your server goes this way. Skill when crafting them. Same old. Combat crafts. Harness your magical formulas to create wands to be utilized by the casters. Get the Sept of Radiant Magic's formula. And just skill, 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 skill. That's literally all it is. Okay. This one. Wand. Were there many people out there that were after wands? Priests maybe, warlocks maybe, mages maybe. Not sure. It will take somebody go in that direction. Yeah, alright then. Feels very much like blacksmithing. Feels like it's very straightforward. They are really hoping that people are going to care about these. And I can't help but feel that this is flogging a dead horse. Especially with the recipe difficulty. I mean, who wants to convert themselves into a Volpera? What kind of moron would do that? Alright. Well, I could power through and try and craft some of this, but for a first look, I don't think we really need to. Especially since it's not even easy to get the basic materials here. We need to configure some way to have a play. In fact, the only thing about this that really interests me more than anything else is the Disenchanting tree. The Disenchanting tree makes me think that if you go this direction, you might also want to optimize this by pairing it with another profession that can create some of this gear for you to consistently disenchant. I don't think that you'd... Yeah, there seems to be some sort of fun aspects of it missing. There seem to be more to enchanting in Dragonflight, if I remember correctly. Some interesting twists on, you know, now you might find a crystal occasionally when you disenchant a thing, or I wonder if we'll get those world drop, disenchant this thing sort of bonus things as well. Seems very template right now. All right, we'll move on from enchanting then. I don't think I really need to move forward with that. How many other professions we got to look at? We need inscription, right? Inscription we should probably have a little look at. Let's make a new tune. Create character, new standard character. We always go hunter. Woohoo! Nobody's stealing my names. Rogue? Get out of here. Rogue. Stinky rogues. How'd I make a stinky rogue? Hunter. Somebody was telling me that Inscription is also hella busted, so we'll see how this plays out. But I'm more intrigued about like how potions work and that sort of stuff. Let's have a little look. Get the UI looking sorted.
What brings you here?
Inscription. I didn't make any notes for hunting, did I? Is it gonna bite me in the ass?
We shall meet again.
No, I still keep pressing P. Professions. Even though P is not professions. Why can't they put spellbook on K? P stands for professions. K does not stand for professions. P stands for professions. Have we finished with Enchanting, or is it next on the list? We've just done like quite literally just done Enchanting. Welcome in though, Mr. The TLDR for Enchanting was simple. It seems very template. Very uninspired so far. There's an interesting tree dedicated entirely to Disenchanting, which might mean that unless you are spec'd heavily into Disenchanting, you just might not do it. Certainly not for the perspective of making any gold anyway. Sure, you might be able to disenchant your own trash just to get some mats to throw on the auction house, but you're not going to do it at any scale. Meaning also that if you are spec'd into like, if you focus towards like actually making enchants, early days at least, you're not going to be disenchanting stuff particularly to get your own mats. It's going to be cheaper to buy the mats off the house. It'll be cheaper to buy them from somebody that has spec'd into disenchanting, which I think is how it should be with the spec trees. But there doesn't. There's a small little buff you're going to get. The shatter buff exists again, but there's not a huge. There's not a huge amount of love being thrown Enchanting's way so far. I think there could have been some more flavour added to it, but maybe that's to come. Right. You've got to do some milling. Is herbs going to be as gross this time for milling? Inks was a real pain in the ass in Dragonflight, wasn't it? They took way too long. I wonder if they're going to have addressed that situation. Let's grab some inks then before some herbs before we begin.
If you ever need anything,
Guess we get the opportunity at least to try and figure out what milling looks like. Why did I pick up only 200 of them? I don't know. Those. Okay. Mats then. Basic herbs. We need some null lotus. Can you mill null lotus? Find out, won't we?
Go in.
Okay. Did I like what they did with Enchanting? Well, not really, because they haven't done anything. They seem to have mostly gone backwards with Enchanting, honestly. They've you know, they've split things out a little bit more for the purpose of specializations in season 1, should we say? But by season 2, when people are getting more knowledge points, they've almost made they've made you pick one of 3 directions, and all those same directions kind of feel the same in terms of enchants as well. Yeah, like enchanting, unless the disenchanting tree is interesting enough to stack a disenchanting spec enchanter with a gear crafting leatherworker or tailor or blacksmith or something. I think you could do with some more love, honestly. Definitely could love. Spectacular rainbow fish. Oh, milling fish. Okay, sure. What happens if we crush up some micro bloom then? We have a recipe difficulty for milling of 250. Which we will likely need to overcome. I remember actually, Dragonflight milling, they kind of screwed the numbers up a little bit. In terms of, they made that the quality of, what was it? I think it was the quality of the pigments. They made it basically non-existent because they made the inks too easy to make. I can't remember exactly what it was they did in Dragonflight, but they ballsed it up somehow. The Nacretious pigment seems to be the only thing we get from Microbloom, though. Only 10 herbs apiece is an interesting choice. So we milled 100, we got 52. So it's basically a 2-to-1 ratio. Defensive purposes. Lure drop. What happens if we smush some lure drop? Drop pigment. Who would have guessed? Same again, pretty much a 2-to-1. Orbinid pigment. Yep, that's obvious. Enchanting mats now have ranks. Yes, they do, yeah. Yep. It's a little bit hard to test since you can't easily get access to quality 1 and quality 2. But alright, there we go. So, milling rates initially seem to be, it's practically 2-to-1. 2 herbs to 1 pigment. Pretty much generally across the board. Let's pick up some more recipes. Oh, wait, what? Oh, we don't get a second ink until... Oh, we get a basic bitch ink, which is Auburnid pigment, Blossom pigment. Oh, Auburnid and Blessing Blossom goes into making our basic pigment. Okay, this all sounds very much like it's not ready. That doesn't sound right. Sure. Temporarily, we'll just assume that's a thing, okay. Only 100 recipe difficulty for making the... Say, this is it. They're doing it again, look. Oh, it goes up to 200. Where you then use lure drop and the Nacretia stuff that comes from Microbloom. Yeah, this is all over the shop. If this is if this is by design, it's broken. Is there only 2 different types of inks as well? Okay. Sure. Shadow inks, shadow inks, shadow inks, shadow inks, shadow inks. Ratha's spear is present most places. This all feels very copy-paste, very early days. I need to get back to some goal making ASAP. I'm broke after buying the War Within and a bunch of game time. You're going to spend an exponential amount of time and effort making gold in retail right now relative to what you'll be able to do in 70 days time when the expansion launches. I can't really recommend people focus too heavily on any serious goal making right now. You're going to have to spend a lot of time for not a lot of reward. Just the amount of effort to make a single token's worth of gold right now is probably disgusting. I wouldn't be bothering, personally. If you need game time, you're better off, and I know this sounds horrendous, but you're better off going and playing Classic. Seems like making a token's worth of gold in Classic's a piece of piss right now. Do an hour or 2 of herbing and you're good to go. Retail, on the other hand, you'd spend 20, 30 hours trying to make a single token's worth. It's not worth it at all. Boundless Cipher is a reagent. Codified Greenwood is a reagent. What do these go into making? Okay. Haha, they don't go into anything yet. Sure. This go into anything yet? No, this doesn't go into anything yet either. Okay. That's a really big indication that Inscription basically doesn't exist yet. So there's not really that much testing to do. Wait, hang on. Can I not even craft this? Oh, I don't have an inking set.
Well, spit it out.
Get the inking set from. Does the multi-tool class as well?
Keep it real.
Yeah. Yeah, inks also seem to initially take a long time to make, which was a downfall in Dragonflight for me. Too slow. Alright, let's just get to 25 and look at spec trees. They claim the spec trees are mostly done, so maybe making a bunch of shadow ink to begin with will be useful. Right, spec trees. Have a look at these then. I'm very early impression is that this is all completely busted. So I'm not going to dive too much into this right now, but let's look at the spec trees because they at least claim these are in the right path. Master the fundamentals of Inscription, improving your ability to craft in general. So the general tree, get it. Improve efficiency of all Inscription crafts, gaining 1 ingenuity, 1 resourcefulness, and 1 something per point in this spec. You're also going to learn treatise on Inscription. Okay. Books are back again. Didn't like the books. Books were just an annoyance. Books are back. Okay. Ingenuity multicraft. I guess that's probably going to be resourcefulness, right? Ingenuity multicraft, and let's assume resourcefulness. Multicraft, resourcefulness, and ingenuity, I guess. Now award an additional knowledge each week. That's surely just for you personally. Means you'll get, what, 2 knowledge points per book instead of 1. Crafting this may inspire you with the knowledge. Another professions. Yeah. So it's a discovery system on these again. Increases your knowledge by 1. That spec tree seems to indicate that you can eventually get +2. Is the new Dracothist item. There's something similar to Dracothist. It's called Blasphemite. It's actually Jewelcrafter's diamond. It's made by alchemists though, and is about as similar to Dracothist as we get. Hold up, does that mean you can gain skill in anything faster if you do Inscription as one of your... Oh, you mean like having a pocket Inscription profession to give your books double... I don't know. That would be a lot of that would take up an entire profession slot for potentially 1 extra knowledge per week. That's a level of sweat that I don't know. It depends how they deal with profession knowledge ultimately. I'm getting more and more of a suspicion that they're going to hard cap profession knowledge each week anyway. Maybe with some small exclusions like first time crafts. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Do you like how the professions are looking so far? Well, they're very early stage. But some of the professions I've looked at where you can tell that they've put effort into are really good. There's unfortunately quite a few professions that are still very undercooked. They were good cash in Season 1. Oh, definitely. Yeah, scribes who were banging out knowledge books in Season 1 were doing well. I was trying to put forward the best practice of at least like throwing your scribe a few thousand gold each week. There were some people that were cheeky and put like 100 gold and just hope it'd get made, but... Multitasking. Improve your multicraft when crafting Kazalgar Inscription recipes. We're going to get a multi-crafting tree, an inspiration, a resourcefulness tree, and an ingenuity tree. Okay, we've seen this concept before. Do the nodes offer up anything interesting though? 25% bonus. plus 10 multicraft, 25% bonus, multicraft, 25% bonus, multicraft, 25% bonus. So there's a 100% bonus on your multicraft yield available. There's some early resourcefulness bonuses. Gain plus 5 reagents saved from resourcefulness. Do not translate. Write in manually when crafting Kazalgar inscription recipes. Delete that. That's do not translate. Write manually. I love how that sneaks into tooltips occasionally. I got some 5k tips on the profession book season 1. I'd always throw 5k at the scribe. Most often because I knew that they might be limited on the amount that they can make. Pushed mine to the top of the list to make sure I got my book nice and quickly without me thinking about it. You know, hey, a big tip. Get better get better service. Resourcefulness refund stuff. Resourcefulness refund stuff. Okay, so pretty standard basic tree. Nothing too fancy. Give me 2 minutes, boys and girls. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break for 2. And then we'll dive into the next ones. Back in a minute. Okay, let's continue on. What is the pursuit of perfection then? Master the art of milling and crafting reagents like inks and ciphers. Learn to rapidly create inscription reagents when crafting in bulk. Gain additional skill when crafting all inscription reagents. Okay. Now we're talking. Is that the same flipping node? Pursuit of perfection. Oh, pursuit of knowledge, pursuit of... Okay. Sure. Improve the quality of your inscription reagents, gaining skill per point spent. Gain 5 skill when milling or crafting reagents. Sure. Skill when milling, skill when milling. Plus skill, plus skill, plus skill, plus skill. Okay, well, based upon the fact that it doesn't look like you need a lot of skill to do it anyway. Obviously, numbers can change. Milling is a 250 difficulty thing. We were able to mill quality 1 herbs, get quality 1 pigments. But if they make the same mistake that they did in... Same mistake that they made in Dragonflight by having the inks be too easy to make, none of it matters because you don't need higher quality pigments to be able to hit this threshold. Because if it's only 100 difficulty, you'll have 100 points just from this bar, or you take on your tools or anything else. So they got to make sure that the inks are difficult enough to make this worthwhile. Where they look right now, they're not so much. Although they seem to be going a different route with inks. They're going to make a basic ink and that's going to be used in basic stuff. Then you have a more advanced ink that is probably used in more advanced stuff. And the more advanced ink is more difficult to make. There doesn't seem to be an epic ink either. There only appears to be 2 this round. Early days at least. Alright. Improve the quality of your ciphers, gaining +1 skill point. Gain 5 skill when crafting inks and using polishing cloth to further improve inks. Gain skill when crafting ciphers. 2% crafting speed for 30 seconds when crafting ciphers. Stacks up to 15 times. First few will start off slow and then it will get faster and faster and faster. Why does it start talking about crafting inks using polishing cloths when it's meant to be talking about ciphers? What are these cipher businesses then? There isn't any. Does it mean these? Presumably these. An entire node for making... Okay. Yeah, it's hard to understand where they're going with Inscription just right now because it's seriously undercooked. Improved milling. Improve the quality of your pigments, gaining +1 skill point in this spec. Skill when milling herbs. Okay, so intermediate materials, inks, pigments, and then inks. Is the concept they're going with, at least anyway. That means then they do have to make sure that milling having a difficulty of 250 is fine. That incentivizes you to use better herbs. If you use dumb basic herb, you're going to get 100 points from here. You're going to get, let's say, 40 points, I think. It's probably not 40 points, as it's 10, 20 plus 18 or something. Maybe it is 40 points. I think you might get 40 points from up here. 140 for free. You then need to find the extra 100, which will be using top quality components. So that works. 250 difficulty on milling is alright. Well, maybe it should actually potentially go up to 300 here. This should maybe go up to 300. If you're getting 100 from here, potentially 40 from here. Top quality on 40 on 300 recipe difficulty. What, 120 for free? 120 for free, plus your 140 is 260. Then your points from here would push you into guaranteeing quality 3 pigments when using quality 3 herbs, which is the concept they're going for. This maybe needs to be 300 to balance out nicely. That would then mean you would need your inks to have sizably increased difficulty. Because if you start using quality 3 here, 40% of this is free by the better quality pigments. It needs to stack. You want to have to You need there to be the desire to have better quality pigments. But then when you go to craft inks, you desire the better quality pigments to actually be able to make the better quality inks. This is what they fucked up in Dragonflight. You didn't need top quality pigments because the inks were too easy to make. The whole thing was too slow. So maybe when they fix the front end, match the back end that we have here, it will all start to look okay. This is your ink making tree with some side hustle. This is your general all-round business tree. What's careful and carvings about then? Weapons and profession equipments. Learn how to use missives to specify the stats on carvable equipment. Plus skill, plus skill, plus skill. Ingenuity skill. Ingenuity skill. See. The way the spec trees look right now is that they are taking a way more controlled approach to multicraft and resourcefulness. I don't think we're going to see anywhere near the same amount of multicraft and resourcefulness as we did in Dragonflight. I think they are quite literally going to be bonus stats, not things that you end up relying on. Amy Kaze, thank you very much for the prime. Welcome in. Thank you, thank you. No, that's probably meant to be kamikaze, but kamikaze. Appreciate it. Thank you. Welcome in. Maybe they don't want scenarios where like people just stack resourcefulness up to 40% and just harvest. Maybe keeping your multicraft and resourcefulness more modest in numbers. I'm not sure why the overall desire of that would be. But most of the spec trees that I've looked at so far, it's all just flat skill. Have some skill, have some skill, have some skill. Rarely is anything like... You might have an entire tree like this that's dedicated to go get some multicraft, go get some resourcefulness. But it's not sprinkled in through the rest of the trees like a lot of the Dragonflight ones. Maybe that's part of their goal, to just make these more simple to understand, potentially. You're going to get to go in one of two different routes. Combative curiosities. Staves and offhand weapon. Then I presume usual crafting rules apply. Get a bunch of skill. Put some... optional reagents onto them. Split out staves or torches. Learn to craft the Vagabond's Careful Crutch and gain +5 skill. Learn to craft Vagabond... Is it Vagabonds? Vagabonds. Bounding Baton and gain 5 skill. Skill. Throw some finishing reagents on there. Skill. More skill. Ingenuity and skill. When we do our deep dives on the professions and start really playing around with how professions are likely to look end game sort of style, that for me is going to be when it's like, okay, because this ingenuity turning up right, I'm still confused by why ingenuity is turning up right at the end of these trees. Ingenuity for me feels like something you might want to stack early days when you're having to use a lot of concentration to, you know, make up for the lack of other stats, other skill. You're using more concentration, and so you predominantly want to stack ingenuity to hopefully get as much of that refunded back to you by the time you are fully skilled at doing something, you're going to be using practically 0 concentration. So at that point, ingenuity is a dead stat and you don't care about it anyway. Especially if the recharge speed on concentration is reasonable. There seems to be a contrast for me here of messages. The spec trees seem to indicate that you're not going to be able to guarantee max quality crafts, and so the final bonus they give you is that they will maybe refund some of that concentration that you're having to use every time to make you, you know, your final bonus is right. Now you've put all these points into this direction. We're going to finish it off by giving you that little boost of efficiency, meaning you can craft a few more of them before you run out of concentration. Which seems to counteract their message of, oh yeah, we want to make it so you can guarantee all stuff at quality 5 anyway. It's mixed messages. The skill trees don't seem to represent what they said in the blue post. But until we get balance passes on recipe difficulties, you can't really tell. What happens when we go this route? Profession tools. Silver Tongue's quill. That's got to be is that a tailoring thing? Silver tongued quill. Oh no, that's actually your scribe tool, okay. Scribe's tool, alchemist's mixing rod, and cooking rolling pin. It only actually focuses on 3 pieces of profession gear, but cooking, everybody has cooking. Everybody wants a good rolling pin. We know for a fact that it's going to be a metric ton of alchemists due to blasphemists, meaning it could be very big business building your scribe to be able to craft these for all of the alchemists that are definitely going to need them. And satisfying their own needs. There's the scribe's quill. Learn how to make your own tool better. Alchemy mixing rod. This could be a very viable path. Early scribes, you know. The amount of alchemists that are going to be out there. There's going to be hundreds of the damn things. Same again, look. You're getting your ingenuity right at the very end. Profession's basically the same as Dragonflight. For all intensive purposes, yes. They've taken the Dragonflight profession revamp and they've just like tweaked it in a few places to make it feel relatively new and fresh. Missed your last couple of videos this last week on professions. What's the best start on us? They're quite long. I wouldn't worry, I'll just hang fire. We've been streaming, going through each of them quite methodically, slowly and methodically. We've only really focused on a couple of professions each day. But once I've gone through them all, I'll make some short videos highlighting the TLDR versions. So just hang fire. Biggest profit early in Dragonflight was selling the metal for the profession tools. I was selling it for 500, 1,000 gold per metal. Is the metal going to be the same or has it changed? There's a new version of it. It works in a slightly different way though, but it's still predominantly used for profession tools. Entire 30-point spec trees for like single items here. Be better at making a quill, be better at making a mixing rod, or be better at making a rolling pin. Like, that's quite a hefty knowledge point investment into one item. I know that's not so uncommon to see, like armor crafting, for example, but these are profession tools. That's quite a heavy investment to one item that's like a profession tool. A lot of the treasures have level requirements. Ooh, that's interesting. One-time treasures? Curiosity? I'm still pretty convinced that the end game will just be using concentration to avoid using quality 3 mats. Because Q2 will be so much cheaper. That's why when we get the ingenuity late in the tree. You think that might be the case? That you predominantly focus all of your concentration on using cheaper materials instead? Do we think that quality 3 materials are going to end up being that much more expensive to justify that? Maybe. I mean, it depends heavily on material balance, but if there's a 5k difference in price between materials needed at Q3 and the materials needed at Q2, then maybe throwing some concentration at it, definitely worth. But I sense that concentration is more focused towards intermediate materials rather than like item crafting. Like your profession tools, you're making these profession tools, weapons, armor, these are like one-time craft items, which is where I feel that they're trying to make it so that you can guarantee them at top quality. I think we're going to be focusing most all of our concentration quite quickly towards material crafting. And that might be where you're right, that if you can use some concentration to use quality 2 materials to end up making quality 3 intermediates, that might be where the biggest sort of like profit generator comes from for a lot of professions. Which still doesn't make me believe that putting ingenuity at the ends of these things is that valuable. I don't know. We need some of the balance passes to test this stuff. Okay. Last tree then. What's this going to look to offer us? Archival additions. Master the creation of various inscription services and esoteric Darkmoon cards. Learn how to transcribe and find Darkmoon cards across Kazalgar. Find Darkmoon cards across Kazalgar. People were saying the other day that they weren't able to make Darkmoon cards with Inscription. And I even spotted that there wasn't anything to do that. I don't think we're going to make them anymore, you know. I think the way that they're taking the multi-billion-dollar business of Darkmoon cards away is by quite simply making it so scribes don't make them. Dragonflight taught us a lesson. Yeah, we're going to go fish for the damn things again. I suspect that Darkmoon cards, they're just going to... I wonder if they go the same route of having Darkmoon cards be acquired from in the wild, or by... Let's hopefully not by cracking open wet fish again, but like if they make it so that Darkmoon cards just drop like a very vanilla-esque Darkmoon card system. You play the game, you might find a Darkmoon card. You will probably sell that Darkmoon card on the auction house, and a scribe will buy it and put them all together. Transcribe essence from your other Kazalgar Darkmoon cards into cards of radiance. You take a card and smush it into something else. It was already written find in Kazalgar. Yeah, exactly. Transcribing them is taking one and turning it into a different one. Finding Darkmoon cards across Kazalgar could be the primary way that we get them. Maybe scribes just don't make them anymore. Improve your ability to craft contracts, missives, Vantis runes. Empower your gear with Darkmoon sigil. Improve your ability to craft a lexicon of scriptures that can empower your equipment. Increase renown, and reveal Darkmoon cards. Oh, hang on. Craft a lexicon of scriptures. Hello? Not yet implemented. Not yet implemented. Okay. So whatever that ends up being. +5 skill when crafting lexicon related goods. Increase renown is an interesting one. So that's like... Was that referring to like contracts? When crafting lexicon related goods. Yeah, I just think that entire category hasn't actually been implemented yet. Nothing but gaining more skill again. Cryptic collection. Improve your understanding of the Darkmoon cards located in Kazalgar. Gaining +1 skill when crafting the Darkmoon sigils. Unlock the ability to add finishing reagents when crafting Darkmoon sigils and learn subspec of your... Darkmoon sigil radiance. Improve and research and improve your ability to manipulate Darkmoon cards of radiance. You'll have to spec into this to also learn how to craft the Darkmoon sigil radiance. There we go. Increase your ability to find Darkmoon cards by 50%. Scribes are going out farming, boys and girls. Scribes are going out farming. Doesn't look like scribes are going to be crafting Darkmoon cards anymore. In before every boomkin ends up being herbalism and inscription. Or inscription enchanting. 2x4 farming, inscription, enchanting. What was the outcome of blasphemites? Daily thing or not? Blasphemites have a 24-hour cooldown on crafting them. In current state, you are unlikely to be able to get enough materials to make more than 2 a week. World of Warcraft fellas forcing 30-year-old native English speakers to look up words in a dictionary. I know, it's mad. Grab Inscription 25 on every alt before leveling like I did skinning for Heavy Callous Hide in Shadowlands. Yeah, maybe. Welcome in, Jack. Good afternoon. I saw there's some remix style fishing thread in the game. Level up, ask you fish treasures, etc. We need to have a look at fishing, clearly. Found an alternative to Awakens. You can only get them through mining and herbalism. Crystallized summon, withered summon, and there's a third one. I've seen things that reference those. Okay. Learn how to transcribe other Kazangar Darkmoon cards into Darkmoon cards of Radiance. And then I guess this tree is just copy-pasted 4 different ways. Symbiosis. Increase your ability to find Darkmoon cards by 50%. This potentially means if there's 4 of those nodes, scribes are going to have a 200% bonus for finding Darkmoon cards. 2x4 hyperspawn farming Darkmoon cards on scribes with 15, 30, 60, 90, 90 points. 90 points into 15 on each of these to give yourself a 200% buff to finding Darkmoon cards. Darkmoon Froggers, that's it. Darkmoon Froggers. 200% of 0.01 isn't much though. Well, yeah. Yeah. You'll still get them 4 times as often as others though. 3 times as more times. To build upon these Darkmoon business then, for those that are interested, whilst you can straight up combine 8 cards like normal and smush them into a BOE trinket, very Darkmoon deck-esque, this time round, what they're making it is so that you can, if you don't want to use it as a trinket, you can presumably give it to a scribe via a work order and get that scribe to return to you a Darkmoon sigil, which now becomes an optional crafting reagent. Meaning you get the power in this scenario, this evolution. You get that power on an optional crafting reagent, so you can use it as an embellishment on any of your other pieces of gear. This means that as long as the powers that they give you are at least reasonable, they don't have to compete with all of the other trinkets. Meaning there might be a little bit more viability for the Darkmoon powers this time round, potentially. Obviously, taking them away from having to compete with your 2 trinket slots is one thing, but then of course it's competing with your 2 embellished items. So testing will prove important here, whether they're a hit or a miss again. Yeah, it becomes an optional crafting reagent. It'll be an embellishment that you can apply onto a piece of crafted gear, or recraft onto a piece of crafting gear. Uses the regular embellishment. So it's basically extracting the power out of the deck to use it on another piece of gear. Which might, like I said, it might improve the viability of them. It might improve the demand for them. It gives people a little bit more flexibility. Even if they end up with better trinkets, which is not hard to do. This was the problem in Dragonflight, that whilst the powers were not particularly fantastic in Dragonflight, to be fair, but they were competing with trinkets, and there was always much better trinkets. There was always much better options on the trinket front for people, and so they were just dead for the most part. Plus, obviously, fishing did fishing things. You have to first craft the deck yourself. Well, yeah, the deck is a reagent in making the sigil. So you're going to need to build the deck. How this is going to integrate with like work orders and stuff, I don't know. It could just be another flop, right? Like they tried to make the sigils do a fancy bonus thing on the trinkets last time. They've got rid of that. They've just turned them into optional reagents this time. Logistically, how it's going to work doing this, you might find a lot of public work orders for these, conveniently without the cost of the deck. Because it's not a bind-on pickup thing. It won't be a required thing to request. If we go and have a look, we go dark. We can see the sigils here. Darkmoon duffel. Oh, that's the bag. You can see that in its current form, at least, you don't technically need to supply the deck. So, yeah, I'll throw out a public order for 1 gold commission, and I just won't provide the deck. You know? Sucks if a scribe just happens to have one in their bags and makes a big old whoopsie there. All this can be traded on the auction house, could be a huge market. Well, yeah, I'm obviously focusing on work orders here, but it doesn't strictly need to.
Good luck, friend.
It doesn't strictly need to go through work orders, but that'll be the way, right? If somebody builds the deck themselves, has the deck, then you might need to go through a work order to provide the deck that you already have. That is true. If you can make it, make them, sling them on the auction house. They're going to be pretty expensive optional crafting reagents. It's another alternative to just selling the deck straight up. But it equally depends on just how scalable Darkmoon cards become if you can't craft them. This is the thing. It might be a relatively personal adventure to make these in the first place. You might not be going big dick Darkmoon deck crafting if you can't make the cards. If you're having to farm the damn things up. Admittedly, you could buy the cards off the auction house in the first place. Make the decks, make the sigils, sell those. There's a path to success there. Maybe charge a bit of a premium for doing it up front. Maybe. Inscription, though, we equally can't go very far with. Simply based on... can't go very far with Inscription for the simple reason that all of this is completely busted. There's no point playing with most of this. Half of it's not implemented. But the spec trees are pretty simple, pretty basic. Needs some balancing. That's what this one needs. Needs some balancing. Can we mill quality 2 herbs and still get quality 1 pigments? Of course we can, yeah. Oh, on one wire. Yeah. Gotta wait for an update on Inscription before we can do much more with it, honestly. So there's potential options with these Darkmoon deck sigils. There's same old with making missives and contracts and stuff. There's entire spec nodes into making these 3 items of profession equipment. You really are choosing to specialize pretty heavily in making those, but at least they're responsible for making the alchemy tool. This could be quite big business. Early days as 500 alchemists try and get themselves set up to make blasphemy. Books again. Books are on a similar research system by the looks of things. Once you unlock 1 book. Where was the... Where was the one that... Now we make the book. This is presumably on a discovery system once again. Oh, valid target? What do you mean invalid target? Wow, seriously broken. Can't even craft this to test if it is on a discovery system. Maybe it's meant to be, but it, once again, still doesn't work. Yeah, we'll come back to Inscription in a week or two's time when it's maybe in a better spot. Maybe. Is that most of the professions, primary professions at least, looked at now? Alchemy check, blacksmith check, enchanting check, engineering check, inscription check, jewel crafting check. Have we looked at leatherworking or tailoring? Maybe we haven't. Should we do, I don't know. In fact, what time is it? Oh, okay. I've just realised. Boys and girls, I'm going to have to leave it here today. The next few streams for the next few days are going to be a touch shorter. I'm still trying to make sure I keep up with my streaming every day. There are some things I'm doing IRL right now that are taking up some of my time. So I'm going to leave it there for today. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place, where we can take a little bit of a look at some of the final professions. Or maybe tomorrow we start just like straight up leveling a character. Level a character, get sort of a bit of an understanding of the layout of the lands. See if we can find any treasures or interesting quests along the way. Might be good info to know. Any word on profession work orders being cross-realm? Guild work orders probably most likely will be. Public and personal probably not. What we're led to believe so far. But yeah, thank you all for joining once again. Make sure you've hit that follow button. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button if you're on Team YouTube. We'll be back tomorrow. Don't know if at this time of the day there's many people on. Is Mr. GM online at this point? Or am I a little bit early still? A little bit early still. He's probably not loaded his stream up. Unless he's lurking. Lurking. Sometimes he lurks. I don't have anybody to pass you on to, boys and girls, particularly. My list is pretty bare bones right now. Although my friend Chalida is playing some remix. She's playing some remix. Let's give her a big old juicy raid. Go say hello to Chalida. She's been a long time viewer of the channel, long time supporter of the channel. So show her some love. She's playing some remix. Let's send you over there. She is a Finn. So any of my Finnish friends in chat, make sure to go over your welcomes. Ah, she's got a funky hat on the go. Go give her some compliments on her hat. That is an incredible hat. Right, boys and girls, thank you once again. Give some love to Chalida. Make sure you throw her a follow. Tell her that Manthius says hi. And we'll be back again tomorrow to test some more professions. Peace.